Okay, we are live. I'm gonna go to the account to stress things out. Yes, this is great. Perfect. Hello, everyone. This is Albi. Welcome to the newest series on TEs and Dstack. Together with me here, we have Andrew Miller, Joshua, and Hank from Paula Network, where they will vibe code to produce a use case on Dstack. And of course, we have Tina in the background at Andrew's camera. So I will invite the team to do an introduction about themselves and to let us know what we're going to build today. Maybe starting with Andrew, it would be great.
Okay. All right, everyone. Hey, Andrew here from FlashBuds X, along with Albi and Tina here. And
Mars?
Yeah, where's D-Mars?
Don't know.
Don't know. Okay. Well,
Tommy's there
he's not
too.
here. All right.
D-Mars,
That's my intro for now.
D-Mars is downstairs,
somewhere around.
remotely helping us.
Yeah, we feel D-Mars' presence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Josh, you up on an intro?
Oh yeah, hey, I'm Joshua at Fallen Network. Yeah, I'm here to help with the vibe coding and be able to see if we can build an application pretty quick and launch it in a TE on Follow Cloud using where Follow Cloud is utilizing the Dstack framework. So that is me.
That's awesome. Hey, I want to say hi? Hong was invited as a last-minute guest, I think.
Yeah, Hong is here to make sure everything is working fine. And yeah, anytime Hong wants to join, please feel free to unmute yourself. But I guess we are ready to go. I'm going to add your slides, Andrew, and yeah, you're welcome to start.
Okay, good. All right, I'll screen share and chat a bit. Okay, yeah, I mean, the plan for today is to spend about an hour. The main focus of this is going to be to show some examples of live coding and showing how quick it is to take an app that you make and make it run in a TE with Dstack. We've selected, I think, a pretty simple example to start with, but I think our plan is to do this live series a couple of times. Maybe we make some incrementally clearer examples or incrementally more complex examples, being clear with them, from the whole time. I'd say the goal of this is actually to get everyone interested in TEs or who's heard of Dstack or heard of TE apps in general to feel inspired, not afraid of it, and to get the idea that this is pretty easy and accessible for you to get involved in building applications in this. I figured to spend about 15 minutes at the top of this doing a kind of background on TEs, say what is Dstack, maybe give some background on some use cases and what some of the other examples that are already there in the Dstack examples repo. I'll show that off for a moment. And after some background like that, maybe foreshadow some of the applications that we have in mind to show off later in the series. Then after that, go to I guess we'll end up spending about half the time seeing how quickly Cursor can just make us an application on a prompt we had in mind. We haven't done any coding of this ahead of time. I don't think Josh was even sure that he was going to be doing the live coding ahead of time. So this is going to be an authentic live coding challenge. Actually, the last we checked, Josh was like, what programming language should we write in? So that's pretty good. Maybe we can take votes on what programming language it should be so that he's left in mystery as to which programming language we'd use until the coding portion of that starts. You're welcome to, pick a programming language or go ahead of time. I'm sure it'll work. At least, yeah. Tina suggests to challenge an audience member to, chime in with your favorite programming language, and maybe we'll do whichever one is fastest there. Yeah, if you pick an esoteric one, the live stream will last longer. Okay. Anyway, let me start talking about T's and some of this background. I'll start by just doing the what is a T question. So I'll give my answer first, and then maybe try to pause and bait Josh or Hong into answering too. But So trusted execution environments, TEEs, trusted hardware, I use these all kind of interchangeably. These can mean a few different things, but I take it to mean it's a secure environment that's a feature supported in a lot of processors, especially server class processors these days. Intel, AMD have some, NVIDIA processors have some. So it's not a special kind of hardware. It's just processors that support a TEE execution mode. And there's really two main important qualities of these execution modes. The first one is isolation. The whole point of this is that when something is running in the TEE, even the owner of the machine, the sysadmin with root access on the machine, operator, other users on the machine, not even the person who wrote it and deployed it, none of them can look at the code that is running inside it, or rather the data that's running inside of it. It's protected. It's secure against eavesdropping, peeking from even the owner and root sysadmin of the machine. You also can't tamper with it, so it's you can't modify the program while it's running. This is like the isolation qualities of a TE. And then the other feature that it has that's important is remote attestation, which means that the program running in this isolated mode can output a little certificate that says what code was running, something specified by the application, like input, output, or some claim, and the version of the processor that was running, like if it's up to date. And this whole certificate is also signed by a chain of certificates that starts with the hardware manufacturer. So if you're a user and you are receiving this remote attestation, your client software can actually check that remote attestation before deciding to share any sensitive data with the program or trust it. And that's kind of the key feature of TEs. Maybe the good question is, what at a high level, like, or with a few examples kind of briefly, like, what are you excited about using TEs for? Like, what do you want to use these for? Josh, you want to say which ones you're most excited about?
Like, I guess like use cases I'm most excited about when it comes to
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I thought was pretty fascinating that Flashbots did was, the whole teleport thing and being able to delegate credentials. I like this idea a lot because it seems like, in the pretty near future is if we're going to have these intelligent automations or intelligent agents needing any kind of credential, or we need to onboard them with some sensitive information, I think this type of use case is actually very valuable. Other things as well that I think about is any use case when it comes to like GPU TE and being able to load some open source models in. Like one thing I'm talking to somebody about is trying to get the CSM1B model in GPU TE and fine tune it so that we can see if they can get it into they can fine tune it to be comparable to maybe the Sesame implementation that they've done. So it's just some things around this. I really like these types of examples. But what about you on your side? On the flip side, Andrew, like what are you thinking are like really valuable microservices in this case, like that you think will kind of allow developers to have more flexibility, but also how they can utilize this like isolated sandbox for their programs to execute in?
Yeah, there's a few that come to mind. I mean, one thing is that I expect also the trend is that using this isolated execution mode is, I think, going to become kind of commonplace or like the default. Like I imagine that in some number of years, it's like you'd have to go out of your way to uncheck the use TE mode when setting up any cloud environment. I think things that involve confidentiality is kind of that. I mean, broadly, you get integrity guarantees and you get confidentiality guarantees by using a TEE. So I think things like auctions, ad auctions, anything where there's some private information but need to compute on it. Those kind of stand out. I figured I would mention a blockchain one just because this like multi-prover use of TEEs is kind of interesting, not for confidentiality, but as a backup integrity guarantee. If you're familiar with zero knowledge proofs, then this is like how you prove that some execution was correct. You use this in blockchains a lot to prove that sequence of blockchain transactions is all valid, but really, really cheaply. And then anywhere you see ZK proofs used, you could use TEEs as an alternative to ZK proofs. And this at the top of my mind because of a cool Vitalik blog post basically suggesting that it's a good idea to use ZK proofs together with TEEs because then they kind of have different failure modes. Like if there's a bug in the ZK circuit, then maybe the TEE is not likely to have that same bug and so on. If you don't like the trust model of TEEs, like Intel is the root signer here, so that is some trust there, then they wouldn't be able to make a wrong ZK proof unless the ZK proof is broken too. So like anywhere ZK is used, using TEEs too is pretty cool. So that kind of stands out. To keep it moving, how about this? So I wanted to answer like, what is Dstack? I think that's well, I'll give kind of the short answer, and then there are some longer answers. Maybe the short one's kind of good. So TEEs, there's several like modes of programming TEEs, but the kind of relevant for us is confidential virtual machines, which is where the thing running in the secure execution mode is a whole VM. So you like send your VM deployed into this execution mode, and the whole VM runs without the ability for outside interference, even by the host, the hypervisor can't peek inside the TEE or alter it while it's running. And the challenge with CVMs is that it's kind of a big thing. It's got to have your kernel as part of it. It's got to have all the system initialization. It's got to have like disk volume drivers and loading. So this confidential virtual machine interface, it's been a long time coming though. It used to be much harder. CVMs is a lot easier. So Intel TDX is an instance of CVMs. AMD SEV works like this. AWS Nitro is also based on CVMs. So like when you deploy directly onto these, you have to bring your application as a whole virtual machine. But that's kind of terrible for programming because you have to pick your own kernel. You have to, building the machine images is kind of complicated. So where Dstack comes in is that it is, I want to show an illustration here. This may be a technical illustration. I might show like a doc slide or something in a moment, but it's basically like a reusable base image layer that kind of shifts the programming concern from not having to build a whole base image. Here we have a one size fits all base image. And instead it's a base image that's loaded up with a container driver like Podman or Docker. So now if you want to build an application on it, you don't have to bring your own CVM. You can use the base CVM. You just have to bring your own application container. And that's kind of, the Dstack experience in a nutshell. If you can make an application that fits into a Docker container, then you can run that container on top of this framework. I like this little depiction of like, you can take any existing non-TEE application, PHP, MySQL, get it to work in a Docker. Most old code can be made to work in a Docker without too much work. And then if you run that Docker in a TEE, you kind of get quick upgrades to integrity and privacy guarantees, which are pretty cool because then you can make trust minimized applications, make them easier to distribute on a peer-to-peer network because you don't have to trust the individual nodes. It's kind of general purpose black box that you put application in and you get some privacy and security guarantees. It's not exactly that easy to get a whole secure application. I guess hopefully one of the, while you're live coding, I might try to chime in with thoughts on, what's left and to make an application secure. It's not always exactly that easy, but it's kind of that easy. I figured I'd shout out too that there are some other, besides Dstack, other similar structured things that provide a container interface on top of the underlying confidential virtual machine interface. I have in mind the Cocoa project and Oasis Ruffle and Marlin's Oyster is kind of for Nitro, which is still CVM. So, a lot of these actually are kind of similar. They all have in common that the goal is to provide a container environment because it's kind of reasonable to say app devs have to worry about containerizing their application, but that's a whole lot less than having to maintain everything else. You have anything else you want to add on what is Dstack?
That was pretty good introduction. One of the things I think I like expand on, and I guess, is the like Dockerizing your applications and being able to run any Docker app in a TE, which is like very powerful. And one of the really cool things with Docker recently, they came out with I think it's like Docker AI assistant, which is called, I think it's called Gordon, maybe. But from there, you're able to say, like, you build your application and everything working. Now you can take that Docker AI and you can have it generate a Docker file for you, so you don't have to do like the heavy lifting. And also, if you have an existing Docker file, like for instance, there's a Docker file for like the Eliza OS repo. And I was able to use that Docker AI to be able to analyze the Docker file, see where it's like using unnecessary amount of space when building the image, and then optimizing it to be more lean. And this will, like, to me, I feel like having this little tool here alone allows you to be able to also get that ability to then deploy inside a TE and have like a higher security baseline for your application. So you don't have to, worry about a lot of other security holes whenever you're trying to get a like a MVP, or say like the initial like alpha version of your product to the market.
That's awesome. I hadn't heard of that tool. I'm definitely interested in actually starting to learn more about Docker tools. Yeah, there should be a bunch being able to use existing Docker tools for. I'm gonna actually want to ask questions about this later, about if tools like that can generate like software bill of materials, something that shows you like all of your dependencies, especially because making sure all of your dependencies are well captured will come up again, like reproducible builds. That's kind of an important thing for working with TEs, and containers are a good way to do that. I've been flashing on the screen some of the documentation and the GitHub repo. I guess I would also say that's pretty important. So Dstack is an open source framework. Some of the other ones that I mentioned, these are open source frameworks as well. We're definitely going to be launching today all of our apps on the Fala Cloud specifically. That's great. You can use this hosted environment. Someone set up the TDX machine for you, and you can then run, deploy your Dockerized VMs to them. But you can also run this framework on your own TDX machine if you can get it, or if you can get a bare metal or something else. So it's in no way specific to that particular cloud environment. It is kind of open source and not too difficult. There's kind of a bunch of things, but well, the goal of this is to go into applications, not under the hood. But if you're interested, it's not too hard to dig in and understand how each piece was made and put there. This is TDX specific, but again, the containerizing applications to put them in a TE isn't too specific to that. So you'll probably make your application, if it fits in a container, run on some of the others. It probably wouldn't be too much work of an open source contribution if someone wanted to help make this support some of the other processor types and VM underlying things. So totally encourage you to look at Dstack, look at these documentation, and I wanted to show off this Dstack examples repo. This is where I've just started putting, and a few folks have joined me, little examples, because it's actually really fun to see like how small you can make something interesting as a Dstack application. There's a couple of examples of like networking tool kind of things. I'm really proud of this Tor hidden service example. It's like how to run a Tor hidden service in one click in a Docker Compose file. I mean, and actually one of the styles of things here that's kind of unique and fun is to see how far you can go packing the entire application into a single Docker Compose file. Really, that just ends up showing off this kind of obscure syntax, but you can pack an entire file into a little bracketed portion of a Docker Compose file. So, a normal application is probably going to have a Docker file and some code, and a Docker Compose file that you need for it. But if you really want to be, code golfy or show something off, trying to fit everything into a Docker Compose file is kind of fun. I bet that we're not going to do that just because that's probably inscrutable to Cursor as well as us reading. So we might do a more normal style, but you'll see that if you look at some of these examples. And in general, any application or rather any, if you go find an open source code base that you're interested in, you can ask yourself, what do I get if I put this open source code base into a container and make a TEE out of it? It's almost like if I had a free privacy and integrity upgrade to some existing software package that I know how to use. Like, what else could I do with it if I can run it really easily in this private oriented mode? And actually, I mean, just having so much fun thinking about that was really why I was really determined to make a live stream of some kind, because I hope that everyone watching also gets to have some, if you have a fraction of the amount of fun that I've had making like the Torrid and service sample run, then you'll enjoy this containerizing kind of process. So yeah, I wanted to encourage that. That might be all that I really wanted to go over before jumping into the live streaming challenge for the day. Do you have any of the PRD documents or graphics up ahead of time and want to take over, Josh? I was going to show a little I have some things prepared, but you might be further ahead. In other words, I have the note that I sent after talking with Shaw. Today's challenge was inspired by Shaw from the ELIZA agents, who says, I sometimes have an agent. He pretty famously on his chill live stream had ended his live stream with a pizza ordering demo. So it's like an hour of training how to use ELIZA, and then to cool off at the end, show off your work by making your ELIZA agent order a pizza for you. It was a really cool demo. But he had to then put a credit card number into the agent, and these AI agents like to talk with you over DMs and on Discord, and so it kind of sucks to copy paste your credit card number over Discord, because then knows what server it's stored on. Maybe you remember to delete it, but it's not deleted for everyone. Maybe you just don't want seeing it around. Anyway, it doesn't seem kosher to send sensitive information directly over DM. So why not have some kind of encrypted pastebin, like a more safe way you can ask for a sensitive piece of information, let someone send it to you, get it securely back to the person who requested it in the first place, then dispose of it really quickly. So even if the URL is lingering around, the server's not keeping a copy, and it's like disposable secrets, like Snapchat, but for passing secrets to someone. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you have the diagrams, or the diagram of how you wanted the high level a high level diagram of what the encrypted pastebin looks like? And then also what I can show next is I can show my first run of building that application on Replit first. And then we can try to see. Then we can try to build it in Cursor. But I can show. Let me show another screen. Let's see. Oh, that's a video file. I got that edit.
Yeah, I don't have real documents. I just have a really brief, GPT spam walkthrough.
Let me
a quick
see.
argument with GPT about, exactly. That's kind of a fun feature. You want to have this encrypted pastebin. Do you pass it in the URL? I'm using the term encrypted pastebin, but that's kind of not what this is. An encrypted pastebin, usually the whole key to decrypt something's in the URL that you pass, because then it keeps the server from seeing it. But here it's the other way. We don't really trust the DM that we're sending it over. But the server's in a TE, so we actually want the secret in the TE server, and we don't want it passed directly into the URL. I mean, the flow I have is this little, non-validated kind of flow diagram, but I mean, it's roughly kind of 3 phases. I think it would be a web app where there's a requester. The requester says what kind of data that they want. Maybe to keep it simple, we just have a fixed thing, make it transfer a credit card number. might be cool to have a flexible thing where the requester says, here's the kind of information that I want, almost like they give a prompt for a form of the info that they want to ask for. We should probably keep it simple and just do a fixed one, I'm thinking, for now. We'll see how far cursor gets. Anyway, then there'd have to be a second page where the sender, the one with the secret, actually goes and pastes the secret in there and, you know, clicks OK, goes to the server. Then finally, the requester who wanted it in the first place has to then go poll, I guess, or somehow get notified. Probably polling's good enough for today. And then if the secret was delivered to them, they receive it, and it should be like burn after reading. Like once you've gotten it, or after a time limit's gone, then the secret should be gone forever. This means in particular that I think this is going to be a really simple web application. It's not going to need a database backend. I think it's not going to need to do authorization, authentication, anything like that. If the point is that you're supposed to be able to pass this URL over a DM, it's not like you're worried that your DM's not going to the right place. So I don't think that we need to worry about man-in-the-middle attacks or authenticating both sides. I think we can keep that kind of simple. Really, the goal is just this kind of like burn after reading and not leaving a trace of the secret itself in there. Also, even if the URL ends up lingering, you shouldn't be able to click that URL again and you know, get the secret that was there. I think that's, you know, that's talking through. This is kind of a shitty diagram. I don't know how helpful that is. But that was roughly talking through the flow of it. Was that stalling for enough time? You have something you want to show?
Yeah. So in the Telegram chat, I sent.
Oh, I just stopped sharing, but I can pull up your link too if you want.
Yeah. Let me share.
Yeah, I can add Joshua's screen cursor on the stage. Can you share again, Joshua?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna add your screen on the stage.
Can you see it?
It's here. Yeah, we see the replet.
Okay, so this was like the initial. So like as Andrew was explaining like what he wanted built, I just usually, like, I guess my flow is like try to get a proof of concept with Replit so I can have like a visual, because you can always just use Replit to also sync with your GitHub and be able to push the code there. And then from there, I could pull it in from Cursor and then Dockerize the application. But here are some of like the basic prompt, but we can go back to like Andrew's description that he created for the what we want to build for the encrypted pastebin. But here, this was just like the simple prompt I gave it. It went in here and asked for some additional plans, and I asked for the burn after reading functionality, which is we can see that here. That should be the burn after reading enablement here. But so then it will kick off in like Replit here and be able to create you an application. And this is just to get started. And I believe it uses, in this case, they used TypeScript for this implementation. So if we look at what it looks like if you had a web UI, this would just be like okay, cool, we have something that's visual for the web app, so we know what to go do to move forward. I guess they added a like password protection as well, an expiration time 1 week, 1 hour. See if we could see if this actually works. Hello. Here, and then well, if this is able to be burnt after reading, then this expiration time shouldn't, well, I guess the expiration time could still apply in this case. We can try to create it here, and it creates a secured link. So let me just copy this over, and maybe I can send this in the chat, and well, I'll just access it here on my own. Okay, cool. So the next part would be to see if this functionality is actually only a one-time view. So now that I've already accessed it, let's see if it will still persist. Yeah, cool, sweet. So we know like the basic functionality here is working. So we have like a basis of, you know, just like a hello world of this vibe coding thing that people do. So let's maybe like Andrew, do you have any questions on this so far? Like before I move it into GitHub and then pull it into Cursor?
It's pretty cool. I guess it a couple things come to mind. One is I wonder if you I think that when you paste URLs in, you know, depends on the DM system that you're using, but like it'll try to generate a preview, and I wonder if like the app trying to generate a preview is gonna, you know, actually fetch the URL and therefore cause it to be deleted before the real intended user gets it. And I just find that kind of interesting. I suppose that I suppose it's also possible that well, I actually do have a reason I might want to see it another way. So here it looks like if you whoever receives the URL gets to receive the data, because it's like the sender sending the URL to the receiver. I was thinking it would go the other way around, which is that the receiver sends the URL to the sender enters their credit card data, and now the receiver doesn't have to fetch anything else. Like they already only the one who like created the session gets to see the data. That way, even someone who's like looking at the you know, looking at that URL wouldn't be able to get the secret. They'd only be able to add one.
Like the password protection piece that was mentioned there.
I guess the password protection, I think, might go a little different. I think that this is probably good enough. I think this is probably good enough that it's worth going for.
Yeah, because I would imagine like the password would be good for like the time constraint. The next part I would think is, do you think a user would potentially want to be able to say they need a signature from this public key for them to access the URL in this case?
Yeah, that's possible too. I do feel like if you have that already, then those, you know, if you already have a public key, then you could probably just send encrypted to that public key on your key. So I imagine this is probably most useful when you're dealing with an agent asking for, you know, some data that you don't already have a shared password with or don't already have a public key for.
Okay, so I posted the link in the Telegram. So then I'm gonna see if having that link in if there's like a preview that could potentially cause it to where I can't access it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I already clicked the link, so I've spoiled it anyway.
Oh, it's okay.
I've ruined the experiment. You should probably try it again.
Actually, I'll just try to see if it is a one-time use. Perfect.
And Joshua, if you can sometimes zoom in a little in the screen.
Ooh, this text too small.
I guess I could do the password to see. Oh, cool. So you have to have a password now to see if this. Try it again 2 times. Okay, cool. So
That's great.
should work. And then I'll try the 3. I'll remove the password, do 1 hour, burn after reading, create. And then see if if there's like a preview to see if it would also invalidate, but it doesn't seem like it should. Yeah, so we're good here on the invalidation of it. So on the preview.
All right, great.
So this is good. Yeah. And then since this is in TypeScript, we can start like whenever we do the like move it over to cursor, we can start to think about how to integrate the Dstack SDK if we want to use any of the Dstack services like the remote attestation or the deriving of like keys in this case, like a TLS key or a ETH account. Let's see.
Yeah, those are great points. I'm pretty confident that for this, it's going to make a bunch of sense even without that. I'm kind of expecting that we'll get that T-proxy URL for this application when we launch it. I bet that this basically just works for first try, and even Cursor won't have much work to do. Replit did all the work, so Cursor doesn't have to. I bet we'll pretty much just be going straight to the Dockerizing.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I can do it public. Yeah, public. Calls it. It says secure snippet, but we could. This says secure paste. So, what? I don't know if you have a preference. Yeah.
I like secure snippet for the alliteration.
Okay. Cool. Secure snippet. All right. And now I can like push all this code. I just realized this is like I'm using like a new computer. So we'll see how this also goes.
Live coding a fresh app on a new computer is brave. It's courageous.
But yeah, so we have this repo here. We can then go into here. This one doesn't have, I haven't added SSH key here. Let's go here. So if I zoom in, so there's like cursor rules that you can add for your project. So you can like have your, you can just be more, I guess, like more effective with your vibe coding. This is like a video I watched. I've used this cursor rules for like the follow CLI building, but for this one, yeah,
That's really great. You're a senior engineer with tight budget constraints and family obligations, but you have to really focus in the time you have to work. That's great.
Try to give it some kind of incentive to finish. Yeah. But yeah, let's like pull in the code here so I can see. Let's see. I need to actually. I could just move that. Cool. So we have the code here. One thing we can do is use the agent or have it just do an ask to learn about the code base. So let me check the cursor rules again. What's this say? Oh yeah, because this is a new, okay.
Got an npm install.
To do, yeah. One other thing that I did is this one uses this computer uses Nix, and I need to add all the dependencies. So I have to do like Fox init.
Oh wow.
You can always change them. Yeah, so like whenever I do Fox init, it'll auto detect what version of Node.js is. And I can always change it in the environments manifest. So this just like allows me to have like an environment with all the dependencies I need. And you can see that here in like .fox. I think it's actually pretty useful. I've just started using it, but I think it's quite useful.
Yeah, that's really good. Looking forward to the versioning kind of a thing. This is going to be helping make reproducible builds by making all the you use JavaScript. You're going to have all of these different npm dependencies, but at least you'll get a manifest of exactly all those dependencies. Hopefully that makes it easy for people to be able to find all of the source code for all of those dependencies to be able to audit it. That's kind of a key goal in preparing a package for Dockerizing on TEEs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So another thing is like this, you can see this like on activate. So whenever I run Flux activate, it should be running this hook that will then execute this command. So like npm install. You could also build as well. So like whenever you hit Flux activate, it should be able to pull in all that install, and then if you needed it to build, then you can build a dependency. So we can check this package .json file, and we can also call the npm run build here. So let's go back. Whoops. To the manifest file. I'll just do build project. Cool. Let's see how this goes. And now it should be running the npm install, and then it did the build.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay. So we are wanting to first, obviously, like run it locally.
Yeah, let's run it locally.
Let's see. They have dev. Okay. I haven't even done the excellent. Okay. npm run dev. Let's see how this goes. This says listening.
Not on 5,000. You already have something listening there? That doesn't say in use.
What's the actually I can just
LSOF something, but never remember the rest. Oh yeah, -I.
check if a specific port, so we can do
Yeah, so it's not in use.
You may need a sudo permission.
oh okay.
Even for 5,000?
Oh man.
I'll try to keep talking so we're not hearing password and key presses.
Side channel attack.
Yeah. I just put a lot of cover noise. That's fine. That's just 5,000. Normally that's like with lower ports, you need better privileges to run. Try making it listen on 8,000.
On 8,000. Let's take a look. Actually, this is a good part where we can ask it to analyze the code base and tell us where the like the server's like listing port is. So I mean, I'm pretty sure I could just do the like 5,000 here and find that. So you have like local port 5,000, but this is just like specific towards Replit, which Replit also uses Mix, by the way, just to.
That's cool.
So wait for port, always constant port 5,000. So this is here in the code base here where we have like the port that it's serving on. Zero port, but this is now confusing. So this is why. Take this. So I'll just take this like error output, and this is how like I've like watched the kids do. They just copy it, not save it, but I think it's yeah. So they do like I use the it's like command I for my computer, but I take the lines from this output. Oops, I missed the last part, but can you tell me what this error is? Tell me what this error is and how can I fix this for my code base? So run the command, nothing happens. I can see, cool. And they want us to change it to 3,000. So
let's better do what it says.
Okay, so we'll accept in the natural vibe coding style. Oh, this is like asking for. Cool. Interesting. It's the same thing though. Please try running your server again. So, okay, so we should now go back here, try to clear this out. Cool. And now we can run npm run dev again, see if it'll serve.
Serving. That's great.
Cool. So I can go back to here. I can do cool. So we have the application running locally. That's great. So now we know that
it's the Docker file.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we have this, why you should okay. I'm just gonna. So the next part, I'm just gonna open up a new chat. I'm gonna change to the agent. And is there a specific model?
Make me a Docker file. Let's do. I want to do 3.7s on it.
Okay. Let's see. This. Cool. So, okay, can you analyze? Can you analyze the a Docker file and a Docker composed YAML file?
Awesome.
To be able to Dockerize this application. Steps to deploy. npm install, npm run build, and I guess like for now I can just do npm run dev, but we can fix that later.
Sure.
Cool. Go ahead. So it'll explore structure. One other actually pretty interesting thing as well is if we look at, if I open up another terminal here, a really cool thing, I think I'm in the, yeah, I should be. Flock show. Oops.
Oh, wow. Pop-ups.
Yeah, it's asking me to install. It's like the spam of the old internet days.
Reminds me of Clippy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think somebody was trying to build like the Clippy version for blockchains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. LS or list. Cool. One cool thing is they also have like a containerize, I believe. Yeah, containerize command. So like say that you have your Fox environment set up, you can also create a base image out of your environment and publish that, and you can create it for Docker. And then you can also publish that image so that you can just instead of like say like in this Docker file that was created for us here, instead of saying like from node 20 Alpine, you could actually use the image that you generate and publish here. So you can say from Flock's environment as builder, and then you don't have to like do more complicated stuff. But let's see if we can build this real quick. After it's done generating, oh, it says I need to change the permissions for the run Docker script. Where is this?
I guess you hardly need a run Docker script anyway. It's going to be just some, I'm just going to do Docker compose. Docker compose up's enough. And when we deploy it to the Dstack cloud, it's not going to be we're not going to be having that anyway.
Okay.
I bet we should just be able to rely on this Docker compose file. Do we need a database URL? Actually, did the...
I don't think it needs a database. It created one. Let's see if in here we have a storage here. It says iStorage get user, create paste. Then storage, create user, get paste. I don't see, let's just like, because it says it's using Postgres, right? So instead of the Docker files, you have the drizzle config. Oh, I guess, I wonder what it's using it for. Okay, let's ask, sorry, my dog is snoring.
That's adorable. The producer says we should hurry up and try to finish within 15 minutes. So I think it's okay to take whatever shortcuts we want to just push a Docker file that works and deploy it, and that'll probably be good enough. Looks like this Docker file just actually sets up a Postgres database as one of the services in the Docker Compose environment. I think that's okay. I know that this application kind of doesn't need any persistent state or storage, so just totally in memory would be okay for it. I guess we have to choose between either ask cursor to just remove the database entirely and stick it in memory, which it could probably do, but let's just say this is probably good enough and see what it looks like.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll just do a Docker build. We'll build it for a platform Linux AMD64, so it can run in the Follow Cloud in this case. So we'll do what we call it?
Secure snippet.
It was secure snippet, yeah. Snippet
Cool.
with the tag of one, like B. Let's see, B0.0.1. Yeah, it looks good. So we'll build it. We'll push it because we have how much time you said?
About 12 more minutes.
12 more minutes. Okay.
We have to release the in-person viewers for a conference bus trip. It's our hard constraint.
Cool. So I'm publishing this Docker image to Docker Hub so that I can be able to change my my Docker compose file here. I'll just exit this down. And I can make edits to this. So here I'll just remove this part and put image. You give it the name. We called it secure snippet and v0.0.1. We have the restart always, the ports, the container port, and host port. Let's see, we have this here. One other thing that in the future, whenever we could add something additional to this, when we have time, to call the DStack.
The TEE Dstack.
Yes,
I bet we're not even going to use this because this is just yeah, we'll be relying on that tproxy URL, and I think that's going to be enough. I don't think we'll need in-app remote attestations for this. But yeah, okay, that's there. That's good.
Yeah, so just for I guess like the content documenting specifics that's how you'd be able to have access to those API calls to get those remote attestation and key derived key functions. So we have this. Is this security great? No, because in the remote attestation quote, your Docker compose file is able to be. You're able to grab that out of the remote attestation whenever they measure your Docker container, so or Docker compose file deployment. And another thing is, I guess.
Yeah, why does this database need to be publicly visible? That's
yeah.
Report shouldn't be there, but I think that's fine for now. We just point those out and watch it run. Maybe in the next live stream series, we can specifically go over patching all of the little leftover insecurities that are, clearly present here.
So for this part, I'll do the deploy through the GUI because I had to do some things with the CLI later. So we have a secure snippet. See if this is going to work.
Nice. There we go.
We don't really need that much. 5.
Yeah, totally. These are all fine settings.
It's already in here. We just set it. We didn't store any secrets. So we can just keep the secrets blank and see like if it will create it properly and actually boot it. Great.
Do you want to go watch the terminal console there, like streaming in? That's usually what I do at this stuff. Yeah, 0 logs.
So there's
right arrow.
you can stream it, or if you want to go into the CVM and look at the logs tab, you can look at the logs. And this is a lot, I guess, like a lot cleaner.
I forgot about that new logs tab.
People and app pulling. Okay, so it looks like it's pulling.
Yeah, so the VM's been launched, the base image has been launched. It's now pulling all of it's read the Docker Compose file. It's pulling all of the Docker containers from Docker Hub in this case. I know you could point it to a private registry and stuff as well, but this is just coming from Docker Hub. I think something that's cool about this is that you're going to end up, like when we look at the remote attestation for the TEE proxy, for this as a whole, it kind of lets you connect the Docker Compose file to the thing that's being served at the TEE proxy URL. And because it is, we haven't gone out of the way to be reproducible build for the Docker file, but at least it's on Docker Hub. So you can go on Docker Hub and get the exact same Docker image and then, play with it, run that Docker container locally outside of the TDX environment. It'll still work fine. So if you wanted to know what this does or inspect it, debug it, you can do that from the Docker file, even outside of TDX. So pushing the container images to Docker Hub is a pretty good way of showing that there's some inspectable, analyzable code that matches what the remote attestation shows you're getting.
Exactly. I think there might be like an error. Let's see, because right now it looks like it might be like restarting, or let's see. Oh no, it has it here. Wait, there's a, okay, this is for the database. This would be, yeah, I think it's, let's see what the, oh yeah, it's restarting. So there's some things that,
log.
This is,
is a package missing? Did we skip the?
Cannot find package byte.
npm build being skipped somehow.
Yeah, so let me quickly go through this. I don't have the Docker Hub on this computer, so I just didn't, or not Docker Hub, Docker Desktop. I don't think I have Docker Desktop computer. Maybe I do. Let's see if I do. Docker. I do have it, but I need to. So what I'm going to do is change this. Install npm run build npm moment dev, and then just do npm. Oh, actually, escape. Yeah, I can just do this. Yeah, expose 3000. I don't think we need the setup for the database actually, but go to this. How much time do we have left?
We should try to finish in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes shouldn't be too bad. We'll build again, and then run an and push it, and then run an upgrade. Maybe we can test locally, see if how that works really quick.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see.
Cool. Shut that down. Cool. Go to Docker Compose file. Here. Go to
version. I see. Okay.
Of this, we have this. I don't think this matters. Let's take it out for. Well, we'll just do. Cool. Docker Compose up. Okay, cool. So we would have ran into the same error. And this error is that's not.
The file is not accepted.
The file's not accepted.
Yeah, the Docker compose file, it still shows ask you to accept the changes. Would that be the case? Maybe it's not saved on the disk.
I mean, it shouldn't be the
on the code editor, like the Docker compose file.
Yeah. Like accepting it shouldn't matter because like I have it like set to autosave. This says apply. It's still importing it unconditionally. Yeah. Let's see. So this function node.
I wonder if we could remove production.
Yeah, and then I can like add. Oops. Where is that? Okay. No. Yeah, that's not gonna. It's due to the Vite package imported. Okay, so what I'm okay, I think I know what it is. This happened previously when I used Replit because they have like a dependency on Vite whenever it calls one of the, I think it calls like one of the routes in Vite. Where's Vite? But it's like a dev dependency. So like the reason why it's being imported, it's one of the reasons why it's calling an error because it can't find this like Vite. I guess here.
Or just npm added or something, or
so
remove it.
Exactly. So npm. Oops. I don't know how I got a cat button. npm. Yeah, just for like quickness. So.
Well, you probably already have it locally because it was running locally. You'd have to just get that into the Docker file somewhere. Yeah, it could just be a command in the Docker file.
Yeah. Let me.
Thanks for hitting the control X. Having the green highlight cleared makes me cozier, even if it doesn't do anything.
But yeah, so this will build. Let's see if we can get it running. How much? Like 2 more minutes, right? Or 1 minute?
Yeah, we can stretch 2 more minutes.
All right. Still doesn't see it. It's really interesting. So let me I have it here locally. How is it seeing it right now? Because okay, I can do the Docker run dash IT. What is the Docker command to bash? And the next part is SQL. secret snippet, all right? Secure snippet. 0.2. Cool. So I'm in the container. So we have node modules in this. So ls node modules byte. Oh yeah. So it doesn't have byte here, does it? Yeah. Okay.
No, it doesn't. Did npm install Vite? Doesn't how that didn't happen?
Has it in dev dependencies, but not here. So I'm just gonna take this for now.
And copy it to prod dependencies. That's good. I have permission to extend for a little bit. I just have to wrap up the meeting, but that's fine. So
Okay.
still keep debugging like you're in a hurry and your wife and kids are running out of budget and all that, but
yeah, it seems like.
But I want to see the closure.
Okay, let's build again. Oh, I don't even need the npm install Vite.
A little redundancy is just part of vibe coding. That's fine.
Yeah. That's my first time doing this before, so it's pretty interesting. I guess I can understand why the lore to it, because it seems, yeah, it still doesn't show up.
Not found. How is this possible? The package.json has it now, like we thought.
Yeah, it looks like it's not there.
Yeah. And then yeah.
I guess though that's because you can you confirm it's the correct version?
That wasn't updated. Wait, no, it is. The
It has
there.
Vite.
How is that?
It has Vite. You can run npm install inside the container.
Yeah, run npm install right here.
You said npm. Oh yeah, npm.
And even when you do npm install Vite explicitly, it still doesn't add it. The good news is that, this is just containerizing misery, and none of it is TEE specific. In my experience, it is, all of this is very familiar to me. Going and tracking down dependencies and differences from running locally versus in the container is, for me, a pretty common experience. The good news is once it works locally in a container, it tends to work just fine on the PDX environment. So, at least this unpleasant to watch debugging experience is
Oh yeah, I mean I think that's like also like part of the vibe, whatever the vibe coding thing is. Like just going through the process, kind of talking it out live and seeing like learning like, oh, that's probably a problem that we can like document, or this is good like breadcrumbs for people to pick up on and see like, oh, I ran into the same problem, so maybe I can find a solution if you can like index the videos or live streams for people that want to get it working. But maybe I can like instead of since you had to close up the stream, I can just continue to get it to work, and then just upload it. I'll just like stream this session on like probably like on Twitter or something, and then whenever it's done, I can just like package up the video and then send it over.
Yeah, perfect. We can even graft it on to the end of the video in post-production when we push it to YouTube for posterity, and we can even cut out all the unpleasant bits so it just looks like it worked the first time and no one will know any better in the future when they come and look at this. So yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it. We'll be able to, we showed the cloud launching thing. It's too bad not to get to show off the remote attestation and the using the TEE proxy URL, but that'll get kind of clear in post. I think we've gone over most of what I wanted to get at to show actually for this demo. I do hope that next time we could look into some other things like using tools to you know, make conventional choices for packages that are most likely to be easy to audit later. I think in later ones we'll look at other kinds of networking patterns, like not only basic REST web API, but also different kinds of sockets. I hope that in the next stream, we basically make a TEE-based Minecraft server. That's the use case that I'm most excited about to show off for porting things to containers and running them in TDX. So that may be one of the upcoming ones. We might also talk about like what's involved in the security of the database and persistent storage and what that has to do with the upgrade button when we get to that. So yeah, let's like wrap it up and conclude and stop there, and we'll save some fun for further versions of this live stream. Josh, anything else you want to squeeze out at the end before closing?
If anybody in the comments potentially sees something that is blatantly obvious, let me know.
Yeah, fun. Okay, all right. Thanks everyone for joining the first live stream. Hope you come back for other ones. All right, thanks, Hong and Josh.
Thanks.
All right, see ya.